Okay, welcome to video 4.7 here. We're going to be talking about the linear equation application problems. So our procedure for application word problems is to first read the problem carefully and highlight important keywords or information. Then we have to determine if the word problem represents a linear equation, meaning we have an equal sign and one answer. And then we need to determine the correct axis for the graph depending on the domain. So L-shaped axes mean that we have no negative x's allowed in the domain and no negative y values. Then we would have an L shape. If we have the all four quadrants shaped axes, then we have all x numbers allowed in the domain and the range. So let's look at an example here. Maria charges $15 for every 2 hours that she babysits. Answer the following questions based on this information. So first, let's highlight some information in here that's important. So she charges $15 every 2 hours. I think that's important. How much would Maria charge for working 5 hours? Well, I don't know how much she makes for 1 hour, but I could figure it out in one of two ways. So if I know that it's $15 for every 2 hours, I could divide the 15 by 2 to figure out how much money per hour. The other option would have been to set up an equation saying that if we make 15, that's equal to 2x, or 2 hours at the rate that we get paid per hour. And then we would figure out that it's still 7.5, but here that would be charged for the amount we charge for per hour. So either way, I've now figured out what the rate is. So if she works 5 hours, well, I know it's $7.50 per hour, so I can do 7.5 times the 5, which will then give me 37.5, and then I just added the 0 since it's money and wrote it as a real life answer. So she'll make $37.50. Part B says we need to fill out the table below for the amount that Maria makes as she babysits and graph the relationship on the grid provided. So if I look here, well, 2 hours was $15. 4 hours, we can do one of two things. We can do the 4 times 7.5 per hour, or we can figure out that it's double from this. If I make 15 for every 2, it's going to be another 15 for the next 2 hours. So that's going to give me 30 here. And then if I continue that, the next 2 hours here, because 4 to 6 is going to be another $15, which will give me 45. And continue that, another 2 hours is going to give me 60, 2 more 75, and 2 more will give me 90. And I can see that. Always make sure that you check to be sure that the hours is going up by 2 every time, because they might have jumped all of a sudden to like 20 hours or something like that. Then we would have to use my rate, so 7.5 times the number of hours. Okay, and then we need to graph the relationship on the grid provided. So now I'm just going to plot these points. So I'm going to, when we do that, always remember that H is our x values, and I know that because if I look on the grid here, I'll move it up just a little bit, and I can see that I have on the x-axis, I have H, the number of hours. So I'm going to go to 2 hours and put it at $15 as the A amount charged. And I can continue plotting points, and I can even plot one at 0, 0, because if I don't work at all, I'm not going to make any money. And then 4 would be up to 30, and I can see here that they're counting by tens, so that's going to be right on the line here. And then continue plotting from there. So 6 up to 45, which is about halfway since we're counting by tens. 8 up to 60, and 10 up to 75, which is again halfway, and 12 up to 90, which is the top since it's counting by tens. Okay, now I need to connect my points. Well, I had this L shape because I can't have a negative hours worked. That doesn't make sense. And I can't have a negative amount charged. They're not going to pay me. So that's why we have an L-shaped relationship here. So that means when I connect these points, it wouldn't make sense to put an arrow over here because I'm not going into the negatives. I can't go into the negatives. So I'm going to connect with a straight edge, but I'm going to show my arrow going up only. Now the last thing I need is a title for my graph. And that just needs to be something about the situation, so I just had Maria's babysitting. Okay, now this next part says write down an equation for the amount A that Maria makes as a function of the number of hours H that she babysits. Well, I know that since it says function and it's A and H, I'm going to need to start with A of H equals, and then I found my rate, how much we're going up. That was 7.5, or 15 over 2 per hour, so times the H, and that's my function. Okay, we'll continue this in class. Have a good night.